Hey, everybody, and welcome in. It's the Poor Man Fantasy Football League podcast. We're the fantasy football show that gives you a peek inside the life and times of our Dynasty League. I'm your host, Mike. With me, as always, is my friend Andrew, and tonight is the start of Season 5. Yes, right, folks, we've been doing this for 5 years, 4, technically, but we're on our 5th year, and it is Wednesday, March 19th. Andrew, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. And yourself?
Fantastic, actually. I've been having like a great couple of weeks at work, and my happy work life is bleeding into a happy home life because I don't have to deal with some of the silly foolishness that occurs at work, because some of that silly foolishness stuff is like, why is this happening? Let's address it. Let's fix it. And it's like amazing.
Well, hey, that's always a good rollover.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. One person gets walked out the door and things start improving. It's weird how that works.
Yes, very much.
Now, I do want to chat with you about this because this actually hits close to home. Your father-in-law used to be my supervisor.
Yes.
Way, way, way back in the day.
Your first year that you were there.
My first year that I was there. So when he retired, essentially bringing me on was one of his last acts of retirement, before retirement. The guy that came in, he did some bad stuff, and they walked him out the door.
Yes.
They brought in a temporary guy, wonderful human being, gentleman by the name of Bryant May. Absolutely fantastic guy, was a great mentor, coach, was a leader, but he was retired, and they brought him out of retirement to like just keep this thing going. So they find somebody, they hire, they bring him in. Mr. Bryant May goes on his retirement. New guy comes in. It looks like things are going to be good, but he's new. He's from a part of the world where most of those guys are cut from a different cloth, and that would be Fort McMurray. The Fort McMurray oil patch supervisor is a different breed of man, and that got to shine through, and eventually he was walked out the door just a couple weeks ago. Now we have another acting supervisor, and he's in here, and he's working, doing his thing, as they search for the next permanent. Well, the posting came up, and they said, hey, everybody, we're going to make some changes. This is going to be part of our new future. So we're going to change the qualifications to becoming a supervisor, and we're not going to hire externally. We're going to hire internally. And then they put the posting up. The posting is so generic and so limp with qualifications, the fry cook at McDonald's can apply on it.
But they're not going to hire externally.
I know, thankfully, because, I don't know, umpteen million people would be applying on this job because your qualifications are, you must have education, or you must have experience, or you must have some awareness or knowledge of engineering or business or a trade. You don't have to have worked in a trade. You just have to know of a trade. I'm like, that's how you worded this? You just have to know of a trade? You don't have to actually have ever worked in a trade or worked in business. You just have to know of, I know of McDonald's. I know of Amazon. That justifies your qualifications.
They're going to get like 20,000 resumes.
Internally, I get it. It's internal. It's a 7-day posting. But when we saw the posting, everyone looked at it and it's like, okay, I get the responsibilities. This is what you're supposed to do. Yeah, that sounds about right. That seems very in-depth. Like, you need to be a somewhat qualified individual to do these things, job tasks. And then qualifications, 2 lines. Line 1, you must have knowledge, experience, or education in engineering or business. Second line, or knowledge, education, or experience in a trade. It's like, okay. Now I realize there's going to be a second half. There's going to be the actual screening process, or pre-screening, screening, interview, and you're going to flush a bunch of people out. But just the hypocrisy of, we're going to make it available for everybody. Yeah, you are. Anyways. Just seems like a far fall from where we started with Pat and the qualifications he had coming into this role to what they are, quote unquote, asking for now. Oh well. I just hope we get a good individual that isn't afraid of hard work and working through difficult times with difficult people.
Why don't you apply?
My wife said I should, and to be honest with you, I don't think it would go well. I realize that it would be a great opportunity, and I probably could be successful in the role. But this is a supervisor of an area of a couple hundred tradespeople of which there's a handful that really don't like me because they have no concept or understanding of what it is that I do. So that perception carries through no matter what it is that you do. And those that have gotten to know me and the other gentlemen on my crew, it's like, oh, you do this. Okay. They don't understand what that means until they actually see it in action. They don't know the value that it brings. So there's getting that role. I think I would be fighting an uphill battle for the first little while just to get buy-in from the staff that I went from a frontline audiovisual technician, skipping the CI role, the foreman role, and becoming the supervisor, where there's probably other guys who have at least been tenured long enough that I think if they were to make that jump, they would just inherently earn that level of respect from those around them.
Well, and a lot of the other trades don't even look at you guys as a real trade.
No, they do not. Why do you guys get paid the same as us? Well, because I do a highly technical job that I have to constantly educate on. It's not just I show up and it's the same nail I hit every day. Yeah. Not to take away from those that hit nails, but that's just just as an example that I use.
But you're accurate, right? Like you've got your electricians or your plumbers or your framers or your whoever that all work for the city.
Your carpenters, you've got your tin bashers, you got your painters.
Yes.
There's a kaleidoscope of trades and professions that all fall within this business group. Some of them understand and respect other trades. Some of them have a high ego or opinion of themselves. And some of them are just terrible human beings that just get protected from the union blanket. Yeah. Anyways, you ready to talk some football? So here we are. It's the dead zone between things. Last year's over. Essentially, the frenzy is died off, whatever frenzy we experienced when it came to free agency. The combine's over. Now we're waiting for the draft. It's the long drull until we get to the rookie draft. There's some things that have come up, and we'll get to those here shortly, but there's really not a lot of activity or things to talk about.
Just the day-to-day grumblings or odd news, a story, but you're right, not a lot to deal with.
Which should make this episode fairly quick unless we find some fun tangents to take. So let's start this off with a bit of news. Do you want me to read it or do you want to take care of the news today?
You go ahead. You're the one that drew it up. So
all right. Well, here's what we got. This is going to encompass changes that have happened since our last episode, folks. So top of the list, we got Mecole Hardman signs a 1-year deal with the Packers. Good for him. Punt return specialist. I don't think it really makes them that much better.
Well, it just, you know what? It gives them a fourth or fifth option at wide receiver in case somebody goes down.
Which we know they will.
He's got a ton of speed, or he used to have a ton of speed. And I think he got lost in the shuffle in Kansas City because, at the time, Tyreek Hill was here and Kelsey. They got 90% of the balls. When Tyreek Hill left, they went after rookies instead of using him. Heck, they brought him back at the end of a season to go to their playoff run, and then the next year they put him back to punting or punt returns. So, maybe he lands in Packerville and it's a resurgence of his career, and who knows? Or he just ends up being a punt return specialist, and ends up becoming a Hall of Famer for scoring 100 punt returns for touchdowns. Who knows?
Was it Doug Harvey, or who was the Seattle punt return guy? Percy Harvin? Pervin?
I don't know.
Anyways, there was a punt specialist guy. All right. Next up we got is Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp signs with the Seattle Seahawks. I found to be a rather interesting in-division signing.
Yeah.
I think that might have been part of the motivation.
Yeah, probably. Kind of a thumb or a middle finger up to the Rams, especially when they play the Rams. If he goes off for 150 yards and 2 or 3 touchdowns. So I'm going to see how I can find a quarterback.
It did. They signed Sam Darnold to the 3 years, but if you look at the contract, it's a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
There's no dead money after year 1.
And the thing is that even with the Darnold deal, they still don't trust him.
No. The contract says it all.
He had 1 year where he had a very, very talented team around him. it's a squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Yeah, good analogy. Yeah,
we'll see if Darnold can do it again in Seattle. I personally, I don't like I like for, like I said, the middle finger up to the Rams, but I think there was better spots that he could have gone to and been
agreed.
A very effective wide receiver. He could have gone to Baltimore, could have helped out in Buffalo with their kind of up and down wide receiver. He could have gone to Tennessee or Indianapolis. Well, there's lots of teams he could have gone to where he probably would have been close to the number one guy. So I'm not sure why he went to Seattle where they've got a few weapons already.
Whatever. We'll see what happens. I'm not as excited as a non-Cooper Cup owner. I'm happy I don't own him anymore. Yeah. Depending on his landing spot, it might have been worth owning, but now I'm not too excited. Let's talk about this. Your team, the Bengals, went and spent some serious cash. They signed both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to 4-year extension. Jamar Chase is now the highest paid non-quarterback in all of football at $161 million, and not far behind is Higgins at $115 over 4 years. Yeah. How much money do they have left to pay anybody else?
They've basically said, you know what, screw the defense.
Yeah, that's what I've seen on the internet.
They got to score 100 points every game because their opponent's going to score 95. Unless they can unless they're banking on drafting all defensive players and keeping everybody at that low first-year contract and hope that they get some diamonds in the rough. There's 6 or 7 picks. If they can hit home runs with their 7 defensive picks, maybe it'll work out for them. But that's.
So what do they do with their defensive end, Trey Hendrickson, who's like, trade me or give me a deal?
They're probably letting him look for a deal somewhere. Like they have probably said to him, go find yourself a home because we can't pay you what you want.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, like I said, if they can find themselves 5 or 6 really good young defensemen.
If you get draft capital in exchange, the scary part from what I hear is that you're going to have to pay like a first or second round pick to get this guy. And then you got to give him a high value extension, which is making it difficult for a team want to trade for him.
Yeah. And what also concerns me is like they've got 4 years of this money, and they got the Burrow money for, I think that was a 5-year deal. So they got 4 years left on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Where's their offensive line and all of their defense going to be for the next 5 years? And
no idea.
We've all seen Burrow. Burrow is, I'm going to start calling him Break Burrow because he's broken Burrow.
Broke back Burrow?
Sure. But, he's getting hurt all the time. And, they didn't invest in the offensive line to protect him. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's tough. All right, next on the list, the 49ers trade away standout Jordan Mason to the Vikings, which is a really odd move. They let Elijah Mitchell walk in free agency, and then they traded away Jordan Mason to the Vikings. Now, the Vikings have Aaron Jones, and now they've got Jordan Mason. They really thinned out their running back room. Maybe they feel safe with that Patrick Taylor and Isaac Guerendo as their backups, but CMC still seems to be the bell cow.
Well, yeah, again, is he going to get hurt and be lost in the shuffle again? But I almost wonder if San Francisco going to put themselves up for sale. A team is cleaning house and cutting costs to make themselves attractive to a buyer. Wonder if maybe they're looking to put themselves up for sale.
Yeah, I don't know who the owner is. I guess that's a possibility.
That or they're trying to
reset
bankroll for next year so that they don't going into next year.
Freeing up the cap space.
We're going to get good draft picks because we're at the bottom of the league, and like you said, they got lots of cap space to go after free agents. So maybe they figure, you know what, bite the bullet for a year and turn around and try and rebuild it. If you build it, they will come. Maybe that's who's whispering in the owner's ear.
Kevin Costner's got a hold of him. All right, next up, Kareem Hunt re-signed with the Chiefs on a 1-year deal. I think that's a good deal. I think that's really smart.
I like that. He's going to be a guy that's, I think, is all he will ever get now are 1-year deals.
Rightfully so. That's what it should be.
Don't know how many years he's got left in the tank. But you know what? Had he been in Kansas City the whole year and been able to gel with the team all year long, like him and Pacheco this year, and the guy that they just signed too, like who was it? They picked somebody else up too at running back. They just recently picked somebody up. And we talked about it last week or the week before where we thought, oh, okay, well, maybe Hunt's going to be out the door.
They picked up Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So if Hunt can continue to shine like he did this year, that could be a scary back. Like maybe they go to like what Cleveland was doing. Pacheco run it between the 20s, and then Hunt takes it in from the 10-yard line in to score a ton of touchdowns just because he's a big, strong, powerful back.
Yeah, he's versatile, right? He can do it in the passing game. He can pass block, and he can rush. So,
yeah.
All right. Yeah, no, I like it. My Detroit Lions re-signed Tim Patrick to another deal extension, which I think is great because I think Tim Patrick is a decent receiver.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to break the bank to get him. So
is he going to get a lot of playing, like a lot of catches, do you think?
Probably not. No. I suspect he's going to be the 5th or 6th option because I imagine it's going to be
Laporta and St. Brown.
I think he'll be, okay, so here's what I think. It'll be St. Brown 1, Jahmyr Gibbs 2, then probably Jamison Williams because they really worked him in last year, and I expect that to continue to grow, even with the change of coordinator. Then it's probably going to be Laporta. This is where Tim Patrick and David Montgomery are going to be fighting for those scraps.
Yeah.
So 5-6.
I could see it.
So not a lot, but enough that he's going to have blow-up games.
He could be a perfect bye-week throw-in if the matchup is favorable, where if they're playing like a good stout defense that's going to keep Laporta in check and keep St. Brown in check. He could be the
dump valve, right? He could be the guy. I like Tim Patrick. I think he's good. I don't think he's like a league winner or anything, but I think he could be a great spot start. Next up, we got Miles Sanders, who got cut from the Panthers, is now signing with the Cowboys. Yeehaw donkey.
Cowboys right now is the team where you go to die your career.
Gardner Minshew signs with the Chiefs. He's now backing up Patrick Mahomes. I don't like the. Well, I like the move and don't like the move. I like the move because Gardner Minshew is a quality backup.
Yes. So
if this is a team that's going to push far, you now have a quality backup that you can rely on that can come in and carry your team for a little bit.
I think what they took him for was week 17 and 18. So Mahomes can sit.
Yeah.
And the Chiefs don't lose both those games. Like they got blown out in week 18 this last year.
Because they played who? Like they I don't know who they started.
I think they played. I don't even know who they started.
Yeah.
I don't know what the guy's name is.
Carson Wentz. That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goodbye, Carson Wentz.
So Minshew, you know what? If he has to play 2 games, he can win one of the 2 for you.
For sure. And in more sad, pathetic news, we've got Alexander Mattison, who left the Raiders to sign with the Dolphins. And then former Dolphin Raheem Mostert left the Dolphins to sign with the Raiders.
Mostert going to the Raiders, I don't mind. Madison going to the Dolphins?
Nothing. That means nothing. That is garbage. Mason Rudolph is coming back to the Steelers on a 2-year backup deal, but he's the only quarterback. So are they going to roll with Mason Rudolph? Insurance policy, maybe, in case they don't get who they look for?
I think they're going after a quarterback in the draft. I bet you they trade up to get the 1 or 2 or 3.
I've been hearing that Steelers have been linked with the 2025 draft.
They go after Sanders. I'm gonna throw.
There's
up.
A third guy, Jackson Dart. That's
his name. The guy out of Utah.
Oh, let's see, where is that? So we've got Tennessee take Cam Ward, Abdul Carter, Shedeur Sanders to the Giants, Travis Hunter to the Patriots, Mason Graham to the Jags, Ashton Genty goes to the Raiders. The Jets take Tyler Warren. Jalen Walker goes to the Panthers. Jackson Dart. Ooh, the Saints. He's got this. This is Mel Kiper. Mel Kiper says the Saints take Jackson Dart at pick 9. All right, but he seems to be the number 3 quarterback moving up, and he comes from Ole Miss.
I thought he had come from Utah.
Ole Miss. Let's see. Who else has he got? Tight end. Colson Loveland there. Will Johnson, 16. Linebacker, wide receiver. defensive tackle, wide receiver, cornerback, offensive tackle, cornerback, safety.
This could be the first year the Tomlinson has a losing record.
Maybe. Yeah, if they don't fix that quarterback situation. Yeah, that's wild. When was this posted? This was posted yesterday.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I could see Pittsburgh trading up to get what they're looking for.
Yeah, they're sitting, where are they sitting? 21? 18. Yeah, they're sitting 21. In this projected mock, it says the Steelers could go in a handful of directions. I'm going to assume they sign Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, which will take care of the quarterback position. Running back is a potential play if Ashton Genty or Marion Hampton is available, given Najee Harris went to the Chargers. Cornerback also could be the move, as new signing Darius Slay Jr. is 34 on a one-year deal. However, I'm addressing the defensive line in my projection.
Okay.
Derek Harmon from Oregon. That's who he's got slotted. All right. Interesting.
Realistically, I guess he could be right. Like, who knows? Rodgers or the Steelers could wait for Rodgers or Wilson for the middle of training camp. They don't even have to sign them before camp starts. They're not going to play in preseason anyway. So as long as you've been working out and you haven't gone from infit Favre to retired fat Favre, or in Aaron Rodgers' case, Nicolas Cage from Con Air to Nicolas Cage of that war movie where he was all roly-poly guy.
Yeah, okay. Who knows what Rodgers is going to do? He's taking a sabbatical.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And the last bit of news we got here is wide receiver Mike Williams is returning to the Chargers.
That makes most sense for him.
It does. He wasn't used anywhere else.
No. And the Chargers are an up-and-coming team where he could be the solid number 2 guy.
Could be. Ladd McConkey won. Quentin Johnson isn't going to get the job done. He's got some familiarity with Justin Herbert. Yeah, come on back. Let's see what happens.
Like he could be a guy where if you have the shares on him, he could be your 10 to 12 point guy week in, week out. Yeah, he's not going to be your 20-point guy for your wide receiver 1, but he could be your flex guy and get you 10 to 12, and then have weeks where he gets 2 touchdowns and 80 yards, which gets you, your 20 points. But that's not going to be the normal. But if he gets a touchdown a game and 50 yards, there's your 11 points a week. I could see that happening very easily there in Chargerville.
Just out of curiosity, I jumped on to Sleeper just to see what's trending and what's ending here. So players that are on the top of the list right now, Carson Wentz is the most picked up player as of today. And the most recent news is the Cleveland Browns and free agent Carson Wentz reportedly have mutual interest if they don't sign Russell Wilson.
And you know what? For Wentz, go to Cleveland, he'll be the starter.
Yeah.
And this will be his last kick at the cat. I have no expectations of Cleveland. So if Carson Wentz goes in there and even gets them to 500, that's a victory for the team and him.
Yeah. It's kind of gross. Oh, Joe Flacco is number 5 on the list. What has he got here? Joe Flacco had a recent visit with the Giants. No deal signed. All right.
I think Flacco should just,
be done.
Well, no, just sit back and wait till halfway through the season when the trade deadlines are done and all of that stuff, and then swoop into a team that's a contender and see what happens. Don't go to a last place team like he's done the last few years to kind of help them get through the rest of their season. Go to a contender. If their starter goes down,
jump in.
Then jump in. Yeah. Especially if you only have to do it for 2 or 3 weeks, right? Again, Kansas City could be a prime example of that, where you only need him for 2 or 3 weeks throughout the whole year.
Yeah. Because
Mahomes is going to come back and play in the playoffs. And then you get a shot at winning a ring to end your career.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. It's not like that's going to hurt your legacy.
And here's the top 3 players that are currently being dropped. Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, I can see it.
Patrick Taylor, the running back. Why? He signs a 1-year extension with the 49ers and people are dropping him? That seems weird.
Because he's not going to hit the field.
Yeah, it could be. And then Cam Akers, who is currently homeless. Oh, I happen to be the Cam Akers owner in this league. I might have to go find somebody else to take on this dead weight. Let's see, who's out there? Oh, I could go pick up Joe Milton, quarterback for the Patriots.
Yes, Mike the quarterback and tight end owner.
Yeah. You know what? I think I'm going to put my roster is full. I must dump somebody. Who will I dump?
The guy that you just talked about doesn't have a home.
Yeah, Cam Akers. There we go. Cam Akers. I got a couple guys that might be homeless. There we go. I think there's an issue here. It just went through without going through.
Yeah, and my phone just dinged for your drop.
Yeah. Well, no, I picked up Mecole Hardman and dropped Cam Akers, and it was instantaneous pick up and drop.
You shouldn't have been able to do that.
No, you shouldn't be able to do that. There should be like, I got to wait till tomorrow. What is going on?
No, you should have had to drop your player first and then.
No, you can do the transaction at the same time. Say, I want to add this guy, but the system says, no, your roster's full. You have to cut somebody. And I select Cam Akers. And then tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
I was thinking the scenario where your roster is over. It makes you drop a guy first.
That is so weird. Why is it that it's allowing me?
Because if he was a true free agent, you don't have to wait till the morning.
But you should wait for the morning because all waivers should run the next day.
But it's not a waiver. A waiver is somebody would have had to drop him. So he goes on the waiver for the week. And then he becomes a true free agent, which you can pick up immediately.
Okay. I feel so out of practice now. Time players are on waivers one day. Yeah,
yes, because our champion didn't have to make any moves throughout the season.
That's right,
because his team was so perfect. He will go down this year.
Yeah, we'll see.
Obi-Wan Kenobi says your team will. These players are not the players you're looking for.
Yeah, no, Mecole Hardman is not the player I'm looking for, but I added him nonetheless just to get rid of Cam Akers. Woohoo! All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. We didn't find too many tangents to go off on, but
here's one for you. Have you watched the Halo series?
Oh yeah, a long time ago when it came out on Paramount. Yeah, wherever it was released originally, I watched it and I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and now it's on Netflix.
Yes, I just finished watching the last episode today.
It's good.
It was really good.
I hope, fingers crossed, knock on wood, praying to the Almighty, that now that it's on Netflix and it's accessible to more people watching it, that they're like, wow, this show's really good. Let's bring it back. Let's finish off the next season.
The only part I didn't like was the fight scene in the 9th episode.
Which season are you on?
I thought there was only one.
There's a couple.
I didn't know that. I thought, okay.
Bear with me. I am going to go to Paramount.
I'll just bring up my Netflix.
You bring up your Netflix. I'll go to Paramount. I'm going to go Halo. Come on. Work with me here, computer. 2 seasons. Yeah, there are 2 seasons. How many does Netflix have?
It looks like just the one. So episode
there's 1. There's 8 episodes in season 2.
Okay, so I guess I need to go to Paramount to watch the other season.
Is there really only 1 season on Netflix?
Now, yeah.
Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, so season 9 it's called Transcendence. It's the last episode. Sorry,
yes.
It's the last episode of that season.
Yes.
And then season 2 picks up. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good, man.
Oh, okay, because I'll have to go to Paramount to watch the other one. But it was too cartoonish. The Transcendence, the fight
okay.
At the holy place.
Yeah.
The aliens were just too cartoonish. Like it looks like they took it right out of the video game.
Okay.
When they were fighting them. Or
maybe they did. Maybe that was a cinematic from the video game.
It may have been, yeah.
But still good. I really liked it.
It was very good, yeah.
I was disappointed when I heard that they canceled it because it took so long. I think COVID also had something to do with the delay that we experienced because it was released. The second season was released during COVID, and then we had COVID issues, and then we had writer's strike issues. So that might have put a pin in the whole series.
Could very well have been. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But I like the character. This show made me go back and rebuy, because I owned a bunch of Halo games on the Xbox, but I don't own an Xbox anymore. So I went and bought the Master Chief collection and bought all of the games all at once for my PC and then played through them all while I was watching the show. It was great. It was fun to go back through and just kind of like recapture the story and see how the video game story, how closely they mirrored the actual television show. Yeah, it was fun. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm not a video game guy, so I never got into.
It was good gameplay. I'm happy that the very first Halo was a fun shoot 'em up game. And I don't know if they did it, if they intended on there being a real big story, because it was really good on multiplayer. And that's kind of what I did. I played the multiplayer, red versus blue, great against random strangers, fun with your friends. And then, when you're playing solo mode, it's like, okay, whatever, it's good. Obviously, they built a franchise around it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, because just wasn't there a half dozen games for it?
Yeah, there was too many. Too many, because I logged way too many hours trying to complete, just to get through the story without really getting too in depth. It's kind of like speed running through it all. Enjoyed it. The story's fantastic. They remastered the first 2 games in the pack that I bought. Okay. So it wasn't the original graphics from way back when. It was a bit more up to date and is smoother. Yeah.
Would have been a little bit brutal to play the old graphics.
Yeah, there are some games that the concept and the story are fantastic, but the graphics just don't carry anymore.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Well, folks, thank you very much for being with us tonight and enjoying our little interludes off to the side. And this is kind of what the off season is going to be like, folks. I'm not going to lie to you. There is not a lot of content because we are not like real analysts. We're not crunching numbers and slicing and dicing and putting out statistical analysis for your brains to take in and help make better decisions. We're going to give you our poor man's perspective on things. You can make poor decisions so that we can win better. Okay?
Yes.
That's kind of how this works. All right. Well, folks, thank you again for sticking around. You guys enjoy your day, your night, your week, whatever you got going on. Remember, from one poor man to another, if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. Good night, everybody.
Have a great week, everybody.